Welcome back. In today's episode, I am going to be answering a question that I received through the Cash Libre newsletter. And I want to start by saying thank you to this busy mujer that decided I'm going to email them back and ask them a question. Okay. So I want to read the question and here we go. So first of all, she gave me a nice comment, which I love and thank you. She said, I love reading your posts and information. I am learning a lot. I do have a question, not sure if you can answer it or not, okay? I have credit card debt with several cards, including with some of my banks. I keep trying to bring it back. However, interest is too much. What is the best solution, or do you recommend doing something like a national debt relief program? Her debt is more than 20,000. Okay. Again, thank you for submitting your question. And mujeres and caballeros, because I know I have both of you listening to the show, we now have a question form that you can email us and say, hey, here's the question that I have. Can you answer it for me? We will always answer those questions through the podcast because believe it or not, there is somebody else out there that has credit card debt. And it might not be 20,000, it could be 33,000, it might be 5,000, but it's there, okay? So again, for this amazing mujer that decided to send me the question, here is what I will say. First of all, I want you to assess how long have you been trying to pay up your credit card debt, okay? Has it been a year, 2 years, 3 years? Sometimes when we try to get rid of credit card debt or any type of debt, we focus solely on the final result. Okay. The result in this case, she wants to pay up 2K in credit card debt. But what are the things that she has been doing? So I want you to do an audit of what have you been doing. Have you been paying the minimum on all credit cards? Have you skipped payments? Have you continued to use your credit card as you're trying to pay it off, right? So it is so important that you do an audit of like, what have I done? And this is not just right here in your head. I want you to grab a piece of paper and intentionally make time, block time for you to do the audit. Okay. So I don't want you to even think right now, what are the interest rates? What are the companies? None of that. Like, I just want you to do an audit. What have I done in the past? Have I consistently make those payments on time? Have I continued to use their credit cards while I'm trying to pay it off? What is the narrative that I'm telling myself about this debt, right? Because for you, 20,000 might be a lot, but for other people, that's just a quarter of the debt that they have, right? So always with anything that you want to do, always start with the mindset. What is the narrative that I'm telling myself? The next question is, do you have a fully funded peace of mind? A lot of the reason why people continue to rely on credit card and essentially grow the debt is because they don't have a fully funded peace of mind. Now, a fully funded peace of mind is going to be anywhere between 5,000 or 10,000 depending on your situation, whether you're married, have kids, single, no kids, renting, buying a home, all of that stuff, right? But having your fully funded peace of mind is going to help you stop relying on the credit card and also seeing the credit card as cash, because the credit card is not cash. It's essentially a loan. Okay. And so there are so many ways that you can actually like have a fully funded peace of mind this year. One of them is, have you look at your compensation? And for this mujer, for example, I know who she is because she has been a loyal member of the Cash Libre community for a while. And I know for a fact that she works for a non-for-profit. And sometimes we assume because we are the person in charge of the organization that maybe we shouldn't ask for a raise, that there is literally no budget for our salary, but you have to speak up, especially because I know that you want to become debt free and you want to start your financial freedom journey. Don't assume that you shouldn't be asking, or that the foundation doesn't have the funds to give you the raise. Okay, that's the easiest way to ask. Even if it's a 3% raise, that right now can help you a little bit. The next thing is, think about how you're using your time. Okay, time and debt are like besties. Okay, so if you are spending time taking care of your family, taking care of yourself, taking care of your non for profit, your job, all of these things, the last thing you want to do is actually start creating something. So start looking for opportunities outside your non for profit. And I'm not saying launch a website, find someone to create a logo, do this business. Like, I'm not asking you to do any of that. But what I'm asking is, are you an expert in something that can be taught to somebody else, right? Things like, what if you get hired to go and talk about a topic related to your non for profit as a paid speaker? And I recently was having a conversation with someone about, like, well, I don't even know what I charge. And the answer to that is, start where you're comfortable. So, like at the beginning of my speaking journey, I wasn't comfortable telling people I charge $5,000 to $10,000 for a keynote, but I started where I was, which was 350, 150. So you can start small, and then that money that you earn, it's not for your debt, but it's actually for your peace of mind. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is start setting boundaries. So, are you saying yes to your family, to your husband, to your kids, to la comadre? Like, what are you saying yes to that you should say no? For example, back to school, I'm thinking of that, right? Like, I don't know if you have small kids, but back to school is happening, and a lot of times we want to buy more things than we can afford. So if you can, again, I don't know what is your full situation at home, but if you have kids that are adults, like, are we asking them to also become part of the financial wellness at home, where they have to do something, right? And something that doesn't mean go find a job and give me money. Sometimes something is, hey, can you do your own laundry? Can you feed yourself so I can actually have the time to create more money? Okay, then let's talk about strategy, because I know that's what you want to hear too. And that is, make a list of all of the credit cards that you have, make a list of the APR, make a list of the due date, and make a list of the closing date. Okay, now we already know that you have been trying to pay up this credit card for a while, but maybe have you actually called the credit card company and asked them to give you a better annual percentage yield? Okay, so as a credit card company, if they can reduce the interest rate, sometimes they say yes. And if they don't, maybe now it's time for you to consolidate all of this credit card debt into I love this because I helped someone this year to do this. Okay, so in the show notes, I'm going to add a link to a company that I recommend. Okay, they don't pay me anything, I just really recommend. And so I want you to apply to have your consolidated, and maybe have a 12-month, like, no payment. And then during those 12 months, you have to focus on filling up your peace of mind fund, asking for the raise, finding opportunities elsewhere. Because what's happening is, and we know this, and you guys hear me talking about this over and over and over and over, you cannot pay off debt and build wealth with one single income stream. Okay, think of it like a table. Right now, I'm recording the podcast. I have a round table. It's a cocktail table. It has one leg. If that leg disappears, I got no table, right? So we have to work on creating multiple income streams. And when you open your peace of mind fund in a high yield savings, that starts making you money. So that becomes one leg of your table. The next one is how can I increase my income? Because believe me, you don't want to be the person that becomes frugal, that says, well, I'm going to eat beans and rice and I'm not going to go on vacation, and start depriving yourself of the things that you earn because you have been working hard. And so focusing on the multiple income streams, okay? Let me give you a little bit of a story of someone that I helped this year. So just like you, she also had multiple credit cards, okay? And she was paying off everything here, everything there. But what she wasn't doing is she wasn't focusing on paying the card with the highest interest rate, okay? That's what we want to do. Let's pretend that you have three cards, okay? And I'm gonna write things as I record. So you have a credit card that has 25%, one that has 7%, and one that has 5.7, okay? I'm making up these interest rates. So you might think that it's better to pay the 5.7% because maybe that one has a 5,000 balance, and then your 25% card, maybe that one is just 1,500, right? So you might be looking at the trying to pay the balance first versus trying to pay the interest rate, okay? And so for that client that I coached this year, we were able to get together and say, hey, look at the credit card and which one do you think you need to pay off first? And that is a mistake that a lot of people make. They say, well, I have to pay the one with the highest balance, when in reality it's like, no, you have to pay the one with the highest interest rate, because then if you don't do it that way, then what you're leaving right now, it keeps happening where you're like, I've been paying them off, but they're not going anywhere. And again, I'm going to be adding a link to the company that I recommend to do a credit transfer. That's what it's called. And from there, apply. And if that, I know it's going to work for you because I always send people to this company and it always works. And so if you're able to qualify, and don't discourage or remove yourself from applying, okay? That's another mistake that I see. People say, well, I have bad credit and I shouldn't apply. And it's like, no, apply anyways, because you never know, right? And so again, once you're able to apply and they give you the 12 months of no interest, focus on building your peace of mind, and also set boundaries. Set boundaries with yourself, with the credit card, set boundaries with your family. And also, I do want to say this is start investing, okay? Even if it's $5 a month, you have to start investing because the return on investment is higher than the return when you pay off your debt, okay? And if you have any questions, please let me know. If this episode was helpful to you and any other listener, please share it. Give us a written review, and let's go ahead and build wealth juntas. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.